All right, in this next example in section 10.1, we're going to look at a formula that is related to our percent formula. We're just going to look at it in a slightly different way. So one thing that we're also going to need to be able to find or use is we want to be able to talk about an increase or a decrease in percent for other different types of application problems. So in this case, we're going to use a slightly different formula. We're going to use a percent change formula for either increase or decrease. It can be used for either because an increase is going to be a positive answer, a decrease is going to be shown by a negative answer. And what we're going to do is our percent is going to be our final value or our newer value minus our baseline, which is our older value or our original value. So that's going to be up top in our numerator and our fraction. We're going to take the final value, the newer value, minus the baseline, which is the older value. And then once we do that subtraction, we're going to divide it by our baseline. Because remember, a percent is found by division. As far as formulas go for this chapter, you do not need to memorize them. You will get a formula sheet that you're going to be able to use and work with as you're going through the homework and the test. But we do want to focus on kind of how do we use these formulas. Okay, so in example 6, we are asked to use this percent change formula to find the following percentages. So Holdren Hardware Stores pay $48.76 for glass fireplace screens. They regularly sell them for $79.88. At a sale, they sell them for $69.99. Determine the percent markup on the sale price. Okay, so what we're going to be looking for here is we are definitely going to be looking for our percent. Right, we're asked for the percent markup. Right, so we need to establish what is our baseline and what is our final value. Right? So our baseline is the old price, or in this case, what they pay. So in that case, means our baseline is $48.76. In this case, our final value, it's kind of confusing because we're given 3 numbers in this problem. But we don't really care about their regular price, right? We're asked about the percent markup on the sale price. So since we're thinking sale price, our other price that we're going to use is going to be this $69.99. Right, then we're going to use this formula that was up above. P equals F minus B over B. Right, so let's work through this. P equals up top, our F, $69.99. That was our sale price that was in question, minus the base price, right, what they pay, the $48.76, divided by our baseline, which is also that $48.76. The reason I put parentheses around the numerator is that way if you are typing this into a calculator, you do want to, doing it all in one step, you do want to make sure that you are putting parentheses around this top part. Because if you do $69.99 minus $48.76 divided by $48.76, you're just going to end up with $68.99, which is not going to be the correct answer. So if you're typing it into a calculator all in one step, you definitely need to include these parentheses. If you want to do it as a 2-step problem, you can do the subtraction first, hit the equal sign, and then do the division. Right, so either way we work it out, whether we do it in 1 step or 2, we're going to get 0.4354. Again, we want our final answer to be a percent. So remember, we need to shift that decimal point 2 places. So we have a 43.54% markup. Right, and that is an increase because we have a positive answer. All right, let's look at another one. In 2014, the Major League Baseball team with the most improved record for winning games was the Los Angeles Angels. In 2013, the Angels won 78 games. In 2014, the Angels won 98 games. Determine the percent increase in the number of games won by the Angels from 2013 to 2014. So again, we're looking for a percent, so that's going to be our question mark. Right? Our baseline is the older number. So in this case, our baseline is going to be the 2013 number, which is going to be 78. The final value is the newer number, or in time, the more recent number, which is going to be 98. So we're going to use the same formula that we did in the previous example. Our percent is going to be our final value minus our baseline divided by our baseline. Right, so let's plug these numbers in. P equals 98 minus 78 divided by 78. Again, you have a couple of different options. You can do the subtraction first. It's a nice, quick, easy subtraction. 98 minus 78 gives us 20. So we're going to take 20 divided by 78. Or we can plug into our calculator all in one step, which is why I left those parentheses around the top. So make sure if you're doing it all in one step that you are using those parentheses. This is going to give us a decimal, 0.2564, which is going to give us a 25.64% increase. Again, it's an increase because we have a positive number. As you're working through these types of problems in my math lab, again, I mentioned in the previous example, but it's worth mentioning again, we want to make sure that we are rounding carefully. So however many place values the answer asks us for, that's what we're going to be giving. Whether it's one value after our decimal, which is our tenths place, two values after our decimal, which is our hundredths place, so on and so forth. So just make sure as you're going through these problems that you are paying very careful attention to your rounding. All right, so for example C. On January 1st, Juan weighed 235 pounds and decided to diet and exercise. On June 30th, Juan weighed 210 pounds. Determine the percent decrease in Juan's weight from January 1st to June 30th. So again, we're looking for a percent. All right, so our baseline was what he started at. Well, he started at 235 pounds in January. And then our final value is his most recent weight of 210. So again, we're going to use the same formula. P equals F minus B over B. So as I'm plugging this into the calculator, again, make sure we are throwing that top part in our numerator in parentheses. So F was 210 because that's where he ended up. Our baseline is 235. So in this case, if we look at our numerator, we're taking a smaller number minus a larger number, which means we're getting a negative number. So that means we're going to get a negative decimal. So we're going to get negative 0.1064. So again, we're going to shift our decimal point 2 places to the right. We're going to get 10.64%. And since that is negative, right, that negative is going to indicate a decrease. Right, so as we're going through those problems, again, we want to pay attention to our rounding and we want to pay attention to our signs. Right? Positive means increase, negative means decrease.